Welcome to the IVM Podcast Network. Hi, this is Amit Doshi, and I wanted to thank each and every one of our listeners. It's been 2 years since I founded IVM, and it's been an amazing 2 years. We wanted to learn a little bit more about who is listening to our shows, and so we put together a short survey. The survey is anonymous, and we aren't going to be collecting any personal information. I would really appreciate it if you could take a couple of minutes out of your day and go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and fill it out. Thanks, and please keep listening.
You're listening to My Neighbour Zuckerberg.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of My Neighbour Zuckerberg. I'm one of the hosts, Munaf Kapadia.
I'm Nabil Merchant, and today we have Pooja Sharma, the co-founder of Air Media, with us today.
Hi.
Air spelled A-E-R, and at least Pooja insists that was an intentional...
I think it was a typo.
It was a typo,
I think it was a complete typo.
But at least media was spelled right, so we got one right.
It's M-I-D-I-Y-A, right? Yes. Right.
No.
So Pooja, how would you describe Air Media?
So Air Media is a combination of a lot of fun people trying to tell a lot of exciting stories and building communities digitally. So what we do, we're really in the business of influence, simply put. We help brands with digital storytelling using influencers as a channel to do so.
Nice. Okay.
To kind of expand on that a little bit more, today we've seen in the last couple of years the whole rise of what's called the influencer.
Right.
These are really micro celebrities.
Correct.
And then you have the blogging community. So these two have together created a wave, so to speak, wherein people listen to what they have to say. And the reason being that they're very relatable as well as popular. So your A-class celebrities, your big Bollywood stars, they're celebrities, but they're not relatable because they live their life on a very different, parallel.
Correct.
As opposed to the kind of people that we interface with.
Yeah, like a Varun Thakur or a Riti Mittal or someone like a Nandan, right?
Or a Nabil Merchant or a Munaf Kapadia.
Of course, obviously.
Yeah. We're just putting it out there. Yeah, and we don't cost that much.
And all of these, and the fact is that they actually... I got it. I'm making my notes.
You can list us, yeah. We don't have too many followers, but I mean, we still have...
Who needs followers?
Yeah, who needs followers?
But you have conviction.
Real followers.
We have conviction. Sorry, please go on, Pooja.
Yeah, so these people they actually genuinely do have an expertise, which is why they are an influence of some sort.
Dear listeners, please ignore her emphasis on genuine right after we sold ourselves out there.
Okay, so just if, for our listeners and for the audience, if you had to summarize, Air Media's business model, right, how would you, possibly explain this in approximately 60 seconds?
Wow. It's like the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Things are getting serious now, Pooja.
Yeah. So, I mean, like more like an elevator pitch so that people understand, the business that you're in.
Yeah. So basically, it's about storytelling and building communities. And there are two facets to this. You have the influencer and you have the brand.
Wow.
The influencers are a great conduit to telling stories and building communities and creating conversations online, specifically digitally. Brands today are struggling with ways of being part of these conversations and wanting to be regular people in some ways. And this is how we combine real people with real stories and have brands kind of fit in the middle such that their message is passed. And these conversations continue. People talk about it over a period of time. For example, one of our campaigns that we ran with was for L'Oreal, and they wanted to launch a gold lipstick, which was very, very different for this market, and they wanted to create a strong buzz about it online.
A gold lipstick.
A gold shade lipstick to wear.
How do I do that?
Yeah. So typically the way they would have done it, and the way most brands do it, is they would have their traditional advertising, where you would put money behind TV and print ads, hoardings, all of that. And you would have some form of a digital campaign where you're advertising
media spends,
typical
social spends.
And for some bit of relatability, bloggers.
Sure.
What we got them to do was we said that of course, you must work with bloggers. Don't look at traditional media or digital media at all in terms of spends. Find the right set of influencers that speak to your target audience. And one of our most important, sells rather to the brand is that when you try to think of your target audience or your target consumer, that's never a single person. That
Right.
person can be a set of 10 different people because they relate to you 10 different ways.
At least the way social media has evolved, right?
Absolutely.
It's giving users the democratic power to exercise what they feel and their opinion, and hence gather a
Yeah.
fan following of theirs, right?
Exactly.
So their interests can be very different from yours or mine, and they can exercise that
Absolutely.
as a personality facet of theirs.
Yeah. And this whole old school way of saying, oh, my target audience is aged 15 to 25,
It doesn't work
female,
anymore.
lives in cities,
SECA plus, and all that stuff.
that's nonsense.
Yeah.
So at least being in the digital space, what's really exciting is that the problems of the traditional media, that once you put all of this out there, the only answers you got was, did it go to my target in 15 to 25, SECA? Because that's how you developed your communication
Right.
and that's how you put it out.
Right.
But now you're able to know exactly who this person is digitally. What are her interests? What does he do in his free time? What are the kind of piece of content he consumes?
So I'm just very curious. The
Yeah.
target audience for the gold lipstick. What is
Continues to be.
that? Like
I mean,
Mika
just saying
Singh.
that question is helpful last
Yeah.
3
No,
or 4 minutes.
I think it's very
I
easy
should
to
have gotten
find,
the gold
right?
lipstick.
Everyone who's like what Mika Singh on Facebook. Who else?
You'll be surprised of the kind of women who are into gold lipsticks.
Or
like
men.
that.
Yeah.
Or men.
Well, they definitely were, because we managed to create enough buzz around it in the first week of the campaign that the product sold out in the market. So
Holy shit.
Wow,
for them, that
holy
was
shit.
really like, ROI and how.
Okay.
But at the same time, it answered all the hypothesis that we started out with. We really created buckets of people that would fit that. So for the first time, they worked with from fashion designers to stylists to the bloggers,
Right.
musicians, artists, like all across the board. And the whole point of this exercise is you give them the gold lipstick and you have 30 people talking about this digitally, but very carefully selected 30 people.
Yeah.
And
With
they
a
get
script
to...
and a logic behind how the conversations need to be presented to.
No, we don't try to control the content actually.
Okay.
We'll
But is there
allow
some kind
that
of
to
a
be as
structure to it?
organic.
Oh, okay.
The structure is simply that, there are a few elements to the brief. Make sure that gold stands out.
Right.
Make sure you show,
I like
the
the USP.
application, the
Yeah.
lipstick, like 3-4 things that they have to sort
I
of
think this is really
follow. But we allow that to be a very free-flowing content creation, because at the end of the day, if you think about it,
Feels
how
organic then.
complicated is it to put on a lipstick?
Right.
But you need 30 people to do it 30 different ways.
Nice.
So only when you allow the creative juices to flow
Yeah.
does that help. And at the end of the day, in fact, I was reading today that there's a statistic from these guys, Nielsen, that said that on an average, people consume 11 pieces of content put out by an influencer, and by the 11th piece, they have completed 80% of their customer journey to actually buying it.
Wow. Okay.
So we are consuming a lot more content, and the more we consume stuff that's not slapped on and branded in your face, but there is some value that it's giving
Right.
back to you or communicating, the chances are we're going to want to buy that more than having some celebrity say, oh, my hair looks so good because I use
Right.
this shampoo.
Okay, Pooja. So what I've understood, or what we've understood, and correct us if we are wrong, but it seems that what you've built, or what you're aiming to build, is a platform where a set of influential individuals in a digital space who created their own following or niche of theirs, connecting them with a large set of brands, and you're looking to do this first in India and then expand this globally. Is that what eventually arrives?
Absolutely. The whole our play here is actually driven by technology.
Wow.
So we want this to be a platform, and we've developed an app for influencers already, and we've
Sweet.
got almost about 100 of them that have signed in, and this app communicates and integrates with the brands.
Oh, nice.
So the brands can directly put up information, and this information goes to them. They pick and choose who they want to work with. So we've got two tools, one on the brand side, one on the
influencer
influencer
side.
side. So the brand enters the details that they want. depending on the kind of people they want to work with.
This is really cool.
And the system automatically throws in the right people, the right fit, basis several parameters. So this was also one of the reasons why I got into influencer marketing in a big way, because I did a lot of this in the Middle East. I was in Dubai for the last 6 years.
Okay.
And I transitioned from hardcore traditional marketing. I spent 8 years at L'Oreal doing proper marketing, from ad spends on TV and going to the retail and selling stuff literally to the consumer. I did that for 8 years, and then when I moved to Dubai, I switched onto the digital side almost instantly.
Okay.
And I ran a beauty startup there. So one of the learnings there was that, when you're cash strapped, it's a startup, you already have enough, expenses around. How do you get your word out? And there we touched upon influencers in a big way, especially in a market that's so Arabic, and you have to really, there are so many restrictions in terms of how you can communicate. We started working with influencers, and we saw an enormous, change in the way we were selling stuff, and as well as revenues. But the problem was there was absolutely no understanding of how it was performing, no measurement possibilities. Everyone put whatever price they wanted. So it was highly disorganized. And I found exact parallels in the Indian market, because it was just sort of bubbling and coming up. And even now, it's very, very new.
It's still very nascent.
Very, very nascent.
So I this is really interesting, Manaf. I'll tell you what Pooja is doing out here. She's trying to bring some a method to the madness that's actually happening in the influencer space, right? So I know what you're saying. So maybe, say for example, if we get a Varun Thakur to do something around maybe a shirt brand or something of that sort, right? His price could randomly be between 50,000 to maybe 1 lakh for a couple of tweets, or around Pepe Jeans or something of that sort. But why that price? What is the metric behind that price? And now what she's doing is she's creating an algorithm to be able to ascertain whether that price range would make sense or not.
Yes.
So now a brand would really understand the value of what they're actually paying for each influencer. I think that's really interesting. That's very, very interesting.
For us, that's what it is. At the end of the day, we want to be two things. We want to be the best possible agency, so to speak, for the influencer, because we want to bring all sorts of innovation in terms of how they would work with brands, how they work with content, not just brands alone.
Right.
How can they put out a piece of themselves, to the rest of the world, and yet build up on the kind of personality they're structuring for themselves.
Right.
And at the same time, bring a lot of business sense to the brands, because at the end of the day, the brands are looking at bottom line.
Right.
So why spend $1 unless you know what you're getting in return? Completely.
Makes sense. I think this
and
is
that's how we're building it out.
So a quick sort of more questions, on the platform and the business side of it, right? So this is what I was in fact going to ask you. So how do you determine, right, what is the amount to be paid to a particular influencer? So if you could just run us through that. Maybe L'Oreal could be a good example.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's something that you would want to share with us, but
I could sort of, in the sense that, see, the industry already exists in many ways.
Right.
Because especially in India, we have a whole lot of micro celebrities, even if they are not really, they consider themselves to be.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them. Yeah, who's got. See, and that's where my judgment gets slightly skewed, right? I might have approximately around 10,000 followers or 15,000 followers on Instagram, right? How much of that is true? How much of that is a real set of people actually following me? And what is the power do I have on in terms of those kind of profiles that are following me? So that's where it gets slightly skewed. How do you combat and check whether that is
the
a legitimate influencer or not? Yeah.
So there are several ways, and I think in India it's we've had to take a few steps back when we got into addressing exactly the same problems, because we realized it's going to take a few rounds of several campaigns to get to those answers.
Okay.
And what I mean is that to answer your first question in terms of pricing and costing, because this whole industry already exists and you have several agents of people you would never imagine who needed agents, and everyone wants a piece of the pie, somewhere you're kind of bound by the rates people throw around. But even there is some sense to the madness.
Okay.
That they have bracketed their costs, that if you're a celebrity with 2 million followers, there's an X amount of cost attached to it.
Right.
And by and large, that's a rule of thumb. So you can, once you do 1 or 2 campaigns and you've spoken to them, you can...
It's something that you can ascertain over
a period of time. What we want to achieve is to understand, and we can see actually that social media is changing so rapidly, and the kind of things the platform is doing itself in the next 6 months is going to change the way we consume it today.
Right.
And a lot of it has to do with how the true power of influence. They're going to allow shoppability, for example. Right. So in that case, you don't just need 15,000 or 2 million followers. You need those followers to actually engage with you. Only if they engage, your true influence really show in terms of if they go and buy it.
They'll actually buy what you recommend.
Exactly. So what we're looking to do, and whenever that happens, what we want to do is this platform is an invitation-only platform. So we're only opening it up to people we truly believe our influencers. So, we've studied their background a little bit. We've understood their following. And we help them understand the business side of it as well. We help them understand what are their engagement rates, what are the kind of posts that work for them, what don't work for them, where are the target markets. Do they have more male followers? Do they have more female followers? How do they change that equation around so that they're more suitable to...
You're commoditizing the influence space.
Yes.
Very interesting.
We are structuring it.
You're structuring it. Commoditizing as a slight difference.
Very commoditizing the influencer space.
So...
but at the same time, we want their voices to remain. So we don't... That's why when it comes to the content part of it...
Yeah, that will add the legitimacy that you
actually want. She's a very good speaker.
So we make sure that there is no...
in fact, I was just going to ask that question, right? Building the platform, inviting influencers, would it... in a way what he said, could... that's the line that... That's a tightrope that you need to walk, right? You don't want to commoditize it in a way that the importance of an influencer is not given its due working on a particular brand or something of that sort. I'm just thinking of a platform in mind where I'm an influencer. I go to this portal. I got my own app. I've got these multiple brands where I can actually do some promotions with, right? And I'm doing it because I'm getting paid. Shitloads. And guess what? There are approximately around 15-20 brands that I can, do promotions. And suddenly, on my timeline, I've got these, 20 promotions actually happening. Because now, guess what? For each promotion, I'm getting paid approximately 15,000-20,000 rupees. So,
does it get diluted?
Will it dilute...
the idea of the influencer itself.
Yeah. The idea of the influencer itself, right?
There are a lot of checks and balances we're building into the system for the same very reason.
Okay.
Because, if one person, an influencer is someone who you want truly speaks about something because they believe in it, not just because it's a grocery store and you're selling everything possible out there.
Yeah.
So we do have checks and balances in the system because that's something even the brands care about.
Oh, yeah.
So
absolutely.
If you worked with a competitive brand, then there is some sort of a cool-off period that would be expected before you talk about another brand. And I think the influencers, are very good at what they do. So they themselves realize they don't want to sell themselves short. And if they have to if they're going to be working with 20 pieces of content across brands, they will build 40 pieces of content in between so it doesn't look like it. The best part about Instagram or social media, you don't have limited inventory. You can just keep on putting as many, it's not a magazine, 60 pages and you're done. So if you have too many ads, you look like you're a sellout. But no, you can just...
But what gets picked up?
It gets, what picked up. And they're very good. They know, they actually respect their followers. They respect the kind of comments they get. And they believe that, they've gotten this far because of the kind of people who follow them. So, in fact, I find them a lot less likely to sell themselves out as compared to your A-class celebrities.
Interesting. So, what's constantly going through my head right now is... One, have you identified, because of the technology aspect behind this entire thing, have you actually unlocked a breed of influencers who didn't realize they were influencers?
Yes. Yes, actually. I wish there were a lot many, but we did find a few, and that's I think the most exciting part of the work we do is the discovery element of it. So, of course, everybody knows the regular, influencers out there. They made their names offline, and now they're carrying on that legacy online.
Right.
But what we look to find is these homegrown, platform-based influencers who've kind of come out of the woodwork on their own, and they often don't even know that they really
That's
have
so
an
exciting,
influence.
no? And these are the guys who need the money also, I think.
They do,
I don't
but
think so it's
sometimes
money.
not
Yeah,
necessarily.
it's not money. I think it's more on the fact that they want to, have their voice heard, for a larger audience, right? I think that it's more about that.
Buy this diaper. Sorry.
No, so I met with one such person I actually flew down to Mohali to meet her.
Yeah?
I was trying to reach her. Finally, we connected, and I was like, let's catch up. And she's like, yeah, but I'm in Mohali. So I was like, okay, let's meet. And at the time, she had some 80,000 followers. She had not heard of influencer marketing, but she had such amazing content that I was like, this would totally fit several brands. Like, why? How is it that no one's figured it out?
Oh my God, your job is exciting.
And,
I just realized that.
Yeah, and she was great, and she did end up working with us for a brand, and she's done phenomenally well. So, and the brands just love the fact that you see, and this is the part which is real people, real stories. They're not even celebrities, right?
Right.
They just have a talent. She's a comedian, and she used to make these really funny Punjabi videos, and literally in her room. And that's what's the best part about influencer marketing as well. The kind of content you put out there doesn't have to look like it's meant for the cinema or for TV.
Yeah.
The more, as raw as it possibly is probably better. Because people relate to that a lot more.
So, who's the special influencer that you have caught?
No, caught, I wouldn't say. She's fabulous. Her name is Navpreet Banga.
Navpreet Banga.
You must check her out.
What's her name and what's her handle?
So, I hope you're asking this because you really love her content and
Yeah,
you want to know
of
more about
course.
the content.
My God. No, after all the...
Actually, there's some samosas I want to sell.
Yeah. Especially Mohali.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now her name is Navpreet Banga.
Okay.
And she goes by the handle My Brown Girl Lifts.
Brown
Girl Lifts.
Okay.
Fantastic.
She's fantastic. She puts out some amazing hardcore Punjabi content. She actually lives in Canada.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense. No
She
wonder.
comes, she shuttles between Mohali and Canada, but largely based in Canada, but loves her Punjabi roots. Hardcore Punjabi comic. Yeah, the reason I found her was because she was picked up by BuzzFeed at one point to be Priyanka Chopra's lookalike.
Hey,
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen this. See,
And,
this is how I fight content. Sorry.
So when I checked her out, I
Shocking
thought,
Priyanka
wow, not only is she, yes, for sure, the lookalike, but she has her own individuality and it's pretty
Actually, the
powerful.
article spoke about that.
Yeah, so and she's into fitness. That's why it's Brown Girl Lifts, and she's really talks about fitness in many ways, about women empowerment and all of that.
This takes me to my next question. These influencers, which medium ends up being the most powerful medium for influence? Like, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it neither? It's more about content?
I think it depends on from brand to brand and industry to industry. So at the moment, we're seeing Instagram to be the most powerful.
Okay.
Simply because the power of a photo is a lot more, and I think also as
visual media.
Visual media
Specifically.
And I also think that social media has spoiled us to the extent that people are just too lazy to read more than 5 lines.
So video and image content is suddenly become extremely popular.
A lot more popular.
Yeah.
And since Instagram is the best platform for both those, they're doing very well. And then there's Twitter as well. The only reason Twitter is not as big as Instagram is because it has a very select set of following. People either love it or hate it, and you can't have everybody on it. So these are the two that we're focusing on at the moment.
Okay, fantastic. So we're going to take a break at the stage, Pooja. Okay, we'll probably upgrade our respective
profiles.
influencing.
Just make sure that we have enough of bio written in.
I'll follow you, Nabil. You follow me.
Sure.
Right?
We'll do that.
And we'll be right back.
Did you know that some termites in Africa have a pleasantly minty flavor?
Did you know that India's largest music festival was in a way conceptualized in Estonia?
Did you know that the awesomest chips in the world are found only inside US prisons?
Hello, I'm Chuck.
I'm Sriket.
And I'm Naren.
And together we are
Simplified,
a podcast that helps you appear smarter to an audience that knows no different.
or give you some stuff to talk about at parties.
We are ultra crepidarians.
And if you don't know what that means,
Then tune in to Simplified with a B on iTunes, Audioboom, or your favorite podcasting app. Episodes out every fortnight.
Okay, so we are back after a break.
Pooja,
Yeah.
why don't you tell us about a live campaign that you might have run and what was the output of that campaign?
So I'll go back to the L'Oreal campaigin.
Yeah.
It was
The gold lipstick.
The gold
Munaf is
lipstick.
obsessed about.
Yeah.
Are there any samples?
Sure, I'll pass them along soon. So like I said, they wanted to launch this gold lipstick and create a lot of buzz and excitement around it. And more than anything, they wanted to set the tone that it's the biggest possible trend in makeup out there. So as a result, we went back to them saying that there are about 4 buckets of people that you need to talk to in order to achieve the kind of engagement that they were looking for. And these 4 were, the first was trend makers. So we said that if you want to establish yourself as a trendsetter, then you need to have the trend makers that talk about you. So that's fashion, because fashion determines the colors, the cuts, and all of that. That
Trend
everybody.
makers is bucket number 1.
Bucket number 1. So these were designers, stylists for celebrities, because they are always one step ahead of what's trending. So work with them. The second set of people we worked with were who we called, of course, the bloggers and the Instagrammers, because they make the content more relatable to everybody else. Then was the makeup artist, because you can't be an expert unless you have a stamp of expertise.
Right.
And that expertise was brought in by top makeup artists in the country. Also simply because how do you wear a gold lipstick? It's not easy to think of, stepping out of the house in that. So someone who can help you figure that out.
I'm sorry, I'm deviating, but where would you wear a gold lipstick to? I mean, just as a
Carter's Road.
Actually, one of our influencers did do that. You should check out her video.
Are you
Shivani
serious?
Dandekar,
She actually wore the gold lipstick.
Yes, and walked down Carter Road. And then we had a whole set of artists. And so we had people like Shivani Dandekar and we had Kanika Kapoor. So these were the big names that also brought the glam factor, because the brand is associated with a lot of glamour.
Correct.
So these were the 4 buckets, and therefore you could see that there were 4 very distinct set of people bringing very different types of communication to the table. And we had everybody create their own version of the goal. So we did structure the campaign. We started with a teaser where everybody teased about gold. So they were dressed head to toe in gold, or they were in a very gold environment, and they had a lip cutout. So everyone just did boomerangs with the lip cutout, and we had funny, interesting kind of taglines to it. And we got each influencer to dare the other influencer to go bold in gold.
Like the bucket
Bold
challenge.
and gold.
Bold in gold.
Bold in gold.
Yeah, so...
But this is only for the trend makers. You're still on bucket number 1, right?
No, all of them.
All of them,
So
okay.
everyone started posting their boomerangs with the gold lip cutout, and we had designated who's going to dare who within the community of the 30 influencers that we set out.
Okay.
So with the teaser, they said XYZ, how do you dare to go bold in gold? And that's when she revealed the gold lipstick and how she was able to wear the gold.
All right.
So different people did it differently. So you had Shivani Dandekar who walked on Carter Road, and she had a fabulous video of how she rocks the gold. You had others who mixed it with other colors and said, this is the more subtle way of wearing it. You had makeup artists who said, hey, why just wear it on your lips? You can wear it as an eyeshadow. You can put it as something else, as a highlighter. So there was just really exciting content, and everybody brought their own spin on it. And they'd never seen that many videos ever created before. So we had more than 30 videos that came out of the campaign. Over 800 posts and reposts that happened. Yes, it went viral. Like, people were just reposting
amongst a
it.
very influential set of people, right?
Yeah, we had 30 people in all, of which we had about, it was half and half, 15 micro celebrities, influencers, 15 bloggers. And between them, we had over close to 800 posts that
Nice.
went out in a period of 15 days, 10 to 15 days.
Hey, that's
The
very
reach
good.
they got was about more than 5.5 million people it reached. We were also able to give them statistics that the target audience that engaged with them, and they got about 1.3 million engagements, interactions, which is a
Interactions.
combination
Likes,
of
comments.
Likes,
all
comments,
of that. Views.
tweets, retweets, views.
Yes.
Yeah.
So of those 1.3 million people, over 62% were women, which is huge for them because these are not statistics you get otherwise. So we're
Yeah.
able to dig into the data and make some sense out of it as well. And they had never before seen, engagement rates in the beauty industry range anywhere between 1 to 2%. And these guys got a campaign engagement of 22%.
Oh my god.
So that,
Okay.
obviously all of this buzz, everybody was talking about it. I had, and people who didn't know that I was even on the campaign, and I would talk
But you
about it.
conceptualized it.
Yeah, we did. So it was
Yeah.
really exciting to see that. And eventually the fact that all of this buzz got people to go, to a store and buy it is huge because we were not looking at ROI as part of the campaign. The objective is make a
Branding.
trend statement.
Yeah.
It's all about buzz. It had nothing to do with sales. But it was strong enough to get people to go and buy it. It's one thing that you have a link and you can click and buy it online, which anyway makes the process a lot more easy. But it's a completely different story when you have to remember to go to a shop and buy it.
Yeah.
So within the first week of the campaign, they sold out of their gold lipsticks. Gold lipsticks, that too. And so, yeah, it was really gratifying. And it made us believe even more in the fact that this combination works, that you have to have, the right set of people, but then it's really important to communicate the message accurately as well. And you don't lose sight of what you want being said.
That's amazing. And we're talking about 5.5 million
Yes,
reach. Okay.
And how old is Air Media again?
It's 6 months old.
Holy shit. So, how many campaigns have you done in the last 6 months?
Yeah.
We just started because our first, I would say, 3 to 4 months was really just laying the groundwork, getting our even just getting our business model right, understanding. Are we the agency for the brand? Are we the agency for the influencer?
Yeah.
Who are we tending towards? Because we
Right.
were right here in the middle. Who are we building the tool for? So there were several back and forths, and like a typical entrepreneur, you do many circles before you realize, oh no, I started with an idea, but I've landed up in a very different direction.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We know
So
about that.
yeah, so that's what it was, setting up the right team, and we primarily started with a tech team to start building out this tool, because the
Nice.
more we understood of how much we could get out of what's out there in terms of data to support both the brand and the influencer, sort of determined which way we wanted to incline ourselves towards, and definitely it's the influencer. So that took some time, and that's obviously a continuous process. We've done, L'Oreal was our first campaign, which we did in January.
Okay.
And now we're currently running a Maybelline campaign
Okay.
as we speak. So you can hashtag #ISpeakDrama on
I
Instagram.
was planning on
Check
doing
it
that
out.
anyway, so.
Yeah. So you move from the lips to the eyes. At least we're moving up.
Seems like a natural.
So yeah, and now we're looking at diversifying outside of beauty.
Okay.
Looking at obviously gadgets and technology on that front, and auto, because these are the people that have shown a lot of interest in wanting to do exciting things. The beauty and fashion industries are leaders in the influencer space. So in fact, we were very fortunate to get L'Oreal as our first client, and also because they really know what they're doing, and all brands in the beauty industry are way ahead of the curve of every other industry on influencer marketing. So you had to be at the top of your game to deliver good results.
Right.
And now with everybody else, it's really bringing them up to speed with what they can achieve on the influencer side. So we're very keen to expand, to travel into auto and technology.
Do you, is it premature, or do you have a vision for Air Media, which is like 5 years from now?
I was maybe 3 years,
Yeah.
maybe the next 1 year would be good enough.
There is a vision, and I think as much as the vision also changes frequently, but we really want to be a very, very strong, innovative player in conversations that happen digitally. So any which way we can facilitate those conversations, any which way we can use influencers to be the conduit for these conversations is something that we want to do. And influencers, I think, is just the first step. It's a step of getting into the conversations, and then it's how do you continue these conversations?
How do you make
how do you make this meaningful for everybody? So that's where we want to be.
Lovely, really powerful. And how do you scale this?
That's a question we're still toying with. So at this moment, it's really first getting enough experience on the tool that we've built out.
Yeah.
And that would require working with several brands, and then we
get
will
case
look
studies out of
exactly.
it.
So in essence, you're going to be building a cloud score, like another measurement attribute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, for a profile.
Yeah.
Wow.
For brands as well as influencers,
brands
actually.
and for influencers.
Yeah, so it's not just one way. We'd be able to even tell a brand that you're not doing too well yourself.
I just like how you're trying to, like this whole democratization of this entire space, and I think just bringing,
and also personally, I feel because I've, been away and I've seen that how influencer marketing has grown across the world, and despite us, being a massive country, second largest population, definitely have more celebrities possible, than any other country. Yet we don't have an influencer that stands out. If you Google who are the top 10 influencers in any space, any industry, you will not have a single Indian come up. And it's just, shocking. Why? Because we've got a lot of substance, and, either there are people yet to be discovered, maybe, or they're just not having the right conversations, the ones who are already up there.
But they don't have an incentive to do it.
They have plenty incentive because they're all getting paid. So, but it's just, and the future is the one, is one where, and everybody recognizes these influencers that, wherever their day job goes or their offline career goes, they can have their own online avatar, right? That will survive. So everyone wants to make that something that's meaningful, something that's strong, and it shouldn't impact what's happening offline.
Pooja Sharma.
Yes.
It was absolutely fantastic. And Nabil, I'm very happy that Pooja's on the show, because I feel that we are upping our game by getting people, entrepreneurs like her who represent concepts as innovative as Air Media.
Yes.
So thanks so much, Pooja.
Thank you so much.
Both of us are looking forward to the day when you have a line of influencers dying to come on your platform.
I'd love to come back and talk about
brands
it
as well coming on your platform.
Yes, thank you so much, guys.
Right?
This was
happy
a real
business
pleasure.
in 2017, I think.
Yes.
Happy business.
It's a new word that I coined.
Yeah, but just on a serious note, I know someone who's very good with spellings. We'll help you out with that. We'll discuss that.
Don't worry, we can discuss that offline.
Yes.
So
you guys can find out more about Air Media on
www.aer.media.
Media spent as MEDIA, so don't worry about it.
Yes.
Alright, signing off, Munaf Kapadia.
And Nabil Merchant.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That was an episode of My Neighbour Zuckerberg, brought to you by Indus Vox Media and media partners Inc. 42.
My Neighbour Zuckerberg is a Indus Vox media production. If you like this podcast, please also listen to Cyrus Says, an irreverent podcast hosted by funny man Cyrus Brocha, who takes a dig at urban India and interviews interesting guests every week. Episodes out every Monday.
Hey man, just help me out, man. I need some podcast, man. I haven't had a fix in a week. Just need some.
Don't you worry about it. I got podcast galore for you, man. Just go to ivmpodcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Thanks, man. I'm gonna check it out.